So hello, welcome back. So we have registered our stake pools, we have launched our nodes, we have even configured them to run on system D, and well, it's time to start producing blocks, right? Of course it is, but there is an important thing to consider. Right now, the total stake delegated to my pool is like 9,000 ADA or something like that. So it's around 9.5 thousand ADA, something, not too much. So even when there is some stake, well, my chances of actually being elected as a slot leader are very low. I have just too few tickets for that lottery, right? So what I want to do right now is to actually get a delegation from the faucet so that I can have a higher stake under my control, and then I can well, have better chances of actually being elected as slot leader. And for that, we want to come to the faucet, but this time, instead of receiving test data, we want to receive a pool delegation, and it will take our pool ID. Just very important, don't use the hex pool ID, X pool ID. The faucet only works if you use the Bec32 pool ID, right? Now we use my pool ID over here, confirm I am not a robot just yet, and request funds. And we have success. Your transaction has been successful and the testnet funds has been sent to, well, perhaps it's not the ideal message, but what it means is that we have received a delegation. And how can we confirm that? Well, we can come back to the Explorer, and hopefully after a couple of minutes, just waiting for the transaction to be successful, we should see here under delegators. Yes, now I have another delegator, which is, well, the faucet has delegated to me 1 million ADA. So that right now I will have 1,009,000 ADA under my control. So here it is, live stake. 1.01 million ADA delegated to this pool. So it should increase my chances to actually become a slot leader. And this brings us to the stake snapshots topic. Stake distribution snapshot, to be precise. So what it is, how it is used, and why are we talking about this now? Well, turns out that for the slot leader election process to work, we need information about how much stake is associated or delegated to each stake pool. And that is the primary job of this stake distribution snapshot, providing this information. And for that, the system takes this snapshot, this is like a picture, an instantaneous of how the stake distribution looks like at every epoch transition, at the beginning of every epoch, if you will. Now, this stake distribution snapshot contains 3 pieces of information. First, it contains the stake mapping. This is a mapping of credentials to Lovelas. This is how much stake is associated to each stake key. Then we have the delegation mapping, a mapping of credentials to the stake pools. This is to which stake pool each stake address or each stake key is delegated to. And finally, we record the pool parameters at each epoch, basically because it is important later on when we calculate the rewards. So 3 pieces of information on the snapshot, and this information will be later used on different points in time. First, it will be used for block production, and later on it will be used for rewards calculation. So let me bring your attention to this diagram over here. Hopefully this will help understand the life cycle of these snapshots. So let's say we are just here, we registered our stake pool, That's nice. We will be take part of the first snapshot at the next epoch transition. And this snapshot that we take on the next epoch transition will be first known as mark. Why mark? Well, remember when you were in the school, perhaps you were having a sports class, and the teacher would say, when you were having a race, on your marks, get set, go. Well, this is kind of the same mnemonics that we are using here. Mark, set, go. And this is so that during the next epoch, this snapshot will be known as mark. And it will be not actively used for anything. So we are not going to be producing blocks in the next epoch. Then, after another epoch, it will be known as set. So the very same snapshot will be renamed to set. And this time, during this epoch n+2, it will be used for the slot leader election process. It is the same snapshot used 2 epochs later for the slot leader election process. And of course, at this epoch transition, we also had another snapshot that was known as mark. Those we had to rename it to set. 1 epoch later, that same snapshot will be renamed to go. Go to trigger the rewards calculation. And during this epoch, this snapshot will be used for the rewards calculation from the block production here. So we produce blocks and we calculate the rewards from that job during that epoch n+3, and finally at the next epoch transition, the rewards are distributed. So this is the life cycle of a snapshot. First, it is known as mark, then as set, and then as go. During mark, it is not used. During set, it is used for the slot leader election process. And during go, it is used for the rewards calculation. So if you think about it, at every point in time, you actually need to keep track of the last 3 snapshots. And hopefully this other diagram will help us to understand how these 3 snapshots are used. So let's say we are at the current epoch, n, here, this in pink. So in this epoch, at the beginning, at the epoch transition, we took a snapshot. And this snapshot is known as mark here. And it is not used actively, we are just waiting, and it's in preparation for the next epoch. But of course, in this current epoch, we are producing blocks. Perhaps not we, but the system is producing blocks, right? Other stake pools. Well, this block production is based on the set snapshot, which was mark on the previous epoch, now known as set. And of course, during this epoch as well, the system is calculating rewards from the block production of the previous epoch. And it is using the go snapshot that previously was on set and previously was mark. So this is, if you query this stake distribution snapshot using the CLI, you will have a response that gives you mark, set, and go. And this is how these 3 snapshots are used during the current epoch. Mark is not used, set is used for the slot leader election process, and go is just used for the rewards calculation. And well, if we go back to the previous diagram over here, if we just register our stake pool, we will take part of the next snapshot, then next epoch we will be just waiting for that snapshot to be used for the slot leader election process. So we can be eligible to produce blocks 2 epochs after we register our stake pool. And we will receive our first rewards on the epoch transition from epoch 3 to epoch 4. I mean, epoch n+3, epoch n+4. And this is why these stake distribution snapshots are an important topic to get familiar with now. just to understand when we are expected to be producing blocks. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.